What's up, everyone? I'm Chris Hayzel, and some of you might know me as the video guy here at Cinesamples. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's been kind of hard to wrap my head around the fact that it's already 2025. It's kind of like 2024 just flew by, like I blinked, and it was just over. But even though it went quick, it was still a very eventful year for Cinesamples, and for Musio specifically. So as we're stepping into 2025, I just want to take a moment to look back at the year, talk about some of the challenges we faced, celebrate some of our successes, and share with you guys some pretty big changes that kind of set 2024 apart for the company, and for me.
What the f***?
Here we go. So I'll explain this whole thing a little bit later, but for now, let's just start at the beginning and talk about some of the challenges. If you've ever worked at any company that sells anything consumer-facing, then you probably know that the last 3 months of the year are what's known as Q4, the most intense and important time of the year for many businesses, with Black Friday and the holidays and all of that stuff.
The German dolls, they're all gone!
And if Q4 goes well, it can set you up for success for the following year. Well, in 2023, Q4 did not go well. And not just for us, for a lot of the industry. And this is for a lot of different reasons that don't really matter. The point is that we went into 2024 with a lot less capital than we were expecting to. And because of this, we had to start the year by downsizing our team. That was not a fun time. I remember talking to Mike Patty and hearing just how deeply sad he was that he even had to make this decision. You know, here was this team of people that he had put together around this vision for Musio, and they took that vision and they built it and they put it out into the world.
This is the Musio Cinesamples team. Everybody wave hi.
A shared experience like that can really bond people. And yet here was Mike and the rest of the team having to say goodbye to not just colleagues, but friends. And even though I was new at the time, it was still pretty heartbreaking. So I can't even imagine what it was like for everyone else who had been in the trenches with these people for years. But what else could we do other than get back to work? The challenge was clear. See, a lot of companies will overmarket and underproduce. They'll talk the talk before they've even figured out how to walk the walk.
Oh my fucking god. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
And while their marketing might be good, their product will usually leave a lot to be desired. But with Musio, it was the opposite. We had this piece of software that the majority of our users really like, and it offers them something really valuable, but we didn't really know how to talk about it. And up until that point, there had been almost no marketing push that had effectively reached beyond the existing Cinesamples base. So it was time to do just that. And the moment that January 2024 hit, the 6 or 7 of us that were still here hit the ground running. The development team started banging out features and bug fixes like nobody's business. Our production team started cranking out new instruments and collections, and we started making content. We started a podcast, we collaborated with all kinds of creators, we made YouTube videos and ran promotional contests and live streams. I called in everyone that I knew that could possibly help us get the word out about our awesome little plugin. And there was no shortage of 14, 15, or 16-hour days just trying to pull a rabbit out of a hat with nothing more than sheer will and elbow grease. To be completely candid, it was a pretty intense start to the year. And there were a few moments where we were right on the razor's edge, just holding our breaths, hoping that all of our hard work would pay off. Now, you might be wondering why I'm sharing all of this with you. I mean, the normal thing for a company to do would be to keep all of their challenges as private as possible, or at the very least try and spin them into some kind of benefit. But I don't really believe that that's necessary. For one thing, challenges, struggle, and even failure are entirely normal. I mean, as music creators, that's a concept that we're pretty intimately familiar with, right? Every person or business or organization experiences challenges at some point, probably many times. And if all of us got a little more comfortable sharing those challenges, maybe the rest of us wouldn't feel so alone when we experience them ourselves. And secondly, without those challenges, the successes wouldn't mean as much, would they? Because despite everything that I just told you, our team was still able to pull off some incredible things throughout the year. All year, our development team worked hard on streamlining Musio, improving its stability, and releasing new features. In total, there were something like 16 different updates released throughout the year that included various bug fixes, download all function, and some pretty impressive performance optimizations. Those optimizations, by the way, were the key to unlocking one of the most requested features of the year, mic positions. And since then, the team's made some pretty serious progress on it. We're aiming to release it into beta and subsequently into the public build sometime within the first few months of this year. On the production side, our amazing production lead Santiago has been full steam ahead on new releases. In fact, he released something like 13 of them throughout 2024, including collections from the World Adventure series like South Africa, Scotland, Ireland, as well as the Cineharps glissando patches and Cinestrings runs. As of December, we've completed the Musio 1 catalog, and Santiago's already hard at work on the first batch of collections for Musio 2. And then, as I mentioned before, on the marketing side of things, we started a podcast. We had some amazing collaborations with artists like Jay Cactus, Tetro, and more. We ran some pretty cool community events like our composing contest. But the thing that I think we've all been most excited about has been hearing all of the incredible music across all different genres that people like you have been making with Musio. And we've been so inspired by it that we decided to launch a Discord to give our users a place to come together, share their music, and learn from one another. And that community is already host to over 1,200 curious and excited members. So if you're looking for a place to come meet other music creators, come join us. And as far as Musio itself goes, at the beginning of 2024, there were only like 3,000 people. Now, at the start of 2025, there are over 14,000 music creators, just like you, creating with Musio. So even though it's been an intense year, it's also been a really good year. And I'm looking forward to continuing the journey. Wait a minute, dude. Aren't you forgetting something? Am I? You know the whole CEO thing? Oh, right. Yeah. I'm the CEO. Okay, here we go. In September, after founding Cinesamples and running the company for 17 years, Mike Patty decided to officially step down as the CEO. Now, I don't want to speak for Mike, but what I can say is that 17 years is a long time to be doing anything. So it makes perfect sense that he would want to change it up. Mike and I sat down and recorded a podcast talking about his journey with Cinesamples and what it's been like for him to close this chapter of his life. So if you want to hear his thoughts on it, I'll put a link to the episode in the description below. But for now, I'll stick to my own thoughts and feelings about this whole CEO thing. So let me start by saying that on paper, there's absolutely no reason why I should be running anything, let alone a business. I grew up touring in rock bands, recording albums in garages, and even living in some of those garages. And to be completely honest, I don't even have a legitimate high school diploma. That's a whole other story. The point is, I am no Mike Patty. But my entire life from the time that I was 5 years old has been entirely focused on music. Writing it, recording it, performing it, collaborating with all different kinds of musicians from all walks of life and all over the world. And I care deeply about this community that we're all part of. And I think that that's the piece that Mike and I really connected on. You know, throughout the year, Mike started to hand off more and more responsibility to me. And around April, he had kind of stepped away almost entirely. And throughout that time, I found myself increasingly more motivated by our joint mission. And here's that mission as I see it. So many companies talk about the idea of democratizing music creation, but they're focusing on democratizing the wrong part. I like to think of the musical journey as a staircase with a gate at the bottom. And when a company says that they're trying to democratize music, what they're really saying is that they're trying to flatten that staircase so that anyone can climb it with minimal effort. But that doesn't work, because skill development, no matter the skill, takes effort. And it takes time. If you really want to democratize music creation, open the gate at the bottom of the staircase. Do what you can to remove or reduce barriers like cost or complicated user interfaces or a lack of learning resources. and make it as easy as possible for as many people as possible to start their own journey up the staircase. Some of them might end up just like us and walk it for the rest of their lives. Some might walk up it for a while and decide that they want to be on a completely different staircase. And some people might just take a couple steps and decide that it's not for them. But at least they had the opportunity to try. By the time September rolled around, I felt like I could clearly see everything that Musio could be, beyond just the plugin, and everything that Cinesamples could do for this world of music that's given us so much. And so when Mike started expressing out loud that he didn't want to be CEO anymore, I told him that I would be willing to keep pushing it forward. And here we are. I truly believe in Cinesamples' ability to positively impact this world of music creation that we're all part of. I mean, take Musio, for instance. We're already taking these tools that have traditionally been reserved for more, elite composers, and we're making them affordable enough for someone that's at the very start of their musical journey. But why stop there? Sure, making great virtual instruments will always be our bread and butter. That'll never stop. But we can also find new and exciting ways to inspire and educate the young and the musically curious. We can use whatever success we have to donate a portion of our proceeds to after-school programs that provide music education for those who wouldn't normally have access to it. We can create our own online communities where creators can come and share their music, trade ideas, and not feel so alone in a creative landscape that feels increasingly more solitary. And we can create products and content that encourages those creators and adds value to their journey every step of the way. Like I said, making quality virtual instruments will always be our focus. But wouldn't it be even better if we could use that as a vehicle to literally and figuratively pay it forward? Because as far as I see it, that's not philanthropy, it's not even altruism, really. It's the cost of doing business. Our company relies on people like you feeling inspired and empowered and even just able to make music. Without you, we don't have a company. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm beyond honored to have been given this opportunity, and I will not take it for granted. Musio, from my perspective, is built on the foundation of providing real value to the world of music and inspiring as many people as possible to make music, because it's one of the most incredible experiences in the world, and it has real potential to change lives. I know it's changed mine. So with that in mind, I wish you all a happy new year. We look forward to help keep you inspired and share this next chapter in our journey with you throughout 2025. Until next time.